3, 2, 1, Mayor.
Yep, 3, 2, 1.
Here we are in the 2-minute warm-up again.
Yeah, let me know when they put us in the group.
Oh, Janice.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're in the 2-minute warm-up, John.
I gotta find us.
Get us in there, John. 2-minute warm-up. And I hope we,
Okay, I found us.
I hope we warm up during that 2-minute warm-up.
Looks great.
Because it's rather chilly. Rather chilly. A little warmer.
So you see that.
What do you see this? Okay. And you see this? Now do you see him?
I don't know, I have to wait for the
Delay. Yeah. Now do you see it? Now.
I still
You
do.
see it? Now
I
you
still do.
Oh man, John, just don't look. Turn your head. Put it over here. Man, he doesn't like my clutter. You see the polyfill over here, but that's from the other day.
Hey Nora, good to see you on a beautiful Friday afternoon for you. Yeah, it's nice and sunny here, and we're actually warming up a tad.
But it takes 6 months for the basement to warm up. Here we are
I don't think
down
it
in
ever
the.
warms up.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it stays cool in the
Yeah, it
summer,
stays
doesn't
cool.
it? It's really pleasant.
Yeah. Hey Janice,
Before
good to see you. Oh, I forgot to tell you, Nora, good to see you. Janice, good to see you. Thanks for sprinkling. Thanks, Nora, for sprinkling.
house or
We're still in
felting.
the 2-minute. Uh-oh, it's 2 o'clock.
House or felting project.
Oh, I don't know. Nora,
Yeah, wasn't it Nora that was
I
doing it?
think you have to ask.
Yeah, wasn't it you, Nora, with one of the people with the felting project? I think that inspired quite a few people
Yes, I think
to
it did.
try it.
Yes,
They figure if I can do it, anybody can do it.
yes. Well, I don't know about that, but I mean, I think it
Yeah.
inspired people. So,
So-
hey, Mayor, give your thing. and then
Okay,
I'll
hey,
I'll
it's
jump
Marilyn.
in.
It's Marilyn and John with Done by Me, coming to you live from Magnolia Hall on the Delaware. John?
Yeah, how about it? And
Yeah,
where
did
are
I
we?
say it right? And we're in the tavern still.
We're in the tavern.
It's rather cool down here. When they were working on the house before we moved in, they worked on it for pretty long, didn't they, John? It had a lot of issues that had to be addressed. One of which was like a new
Nora
heater.
says, nope, wasn't her.
Oh, okay. A new heater, a new air conditioning, so it was very, very, very hot here. And of course they had the house all opened up as they were working. But the men chose to eat down here, and at
Hi,
that
Sandy,
time
good to see you.
it was pretty rough. It's still rough, but it's set up a little bit, so it looks like an old-fashioned tavern. Then there was just junk down here that was left from the previous owner. But they came down here because it was cooler. It's like the old root cellar, you know, and
Root
root cellar,
cellar.
the rough and ready root cellar. But in the other end, there's like quite a few rooms here and dividers
Hey,
and
it's
all.
Clifton's Crafty Casa. Hi, Jean, good to see you.
Hello. But at the other end, there's actually a fireplace that they did cooking and all down here in the basement, but all the way at the other end in the original setup, which was a one-room house.
So, hey, it's past 2 o'clock, and again, it's, as Marilyn said, it's Marilyn John, Done by Me, and welcome to the Vintage Country Crafting Friends Group. And Janice, thanks for inviting us along. We appreciate it, and as we say, it's always an honor and a privilege to be here, and hey, it's kind of funny. We're on the kickoff, Mayor. That's
Yeah,
kind of
we've
weird,
never
isn't it?
done that.
We've never done a kickoff.
And this 2 o'clock is very early for us. Early to get up and get moving and eat and have our coffee and.
We didn't have our coffee.
Well, we had coffee this morning.
Oh, well, but not our after lunch coffee.
No, we didn't have our after lunch coffee. But I really had fun showing you the felting, and I will be going back to it, but I'm trying to jump around all in kind of under the same guise as like sewing projects. I had all this stuff set up to show you like 3 years ago,
Jane
And
says, thanks for being here.
oh, you're welcome. And I never got around to it. Now that I'm up in the attic, you can't believe that sewing room, how much stuff. And I was watching somebody today, and I'll have to look up what her name is, but she's a textile designer. And I think I sent that to you, didn't I, John? It shows
Yes.
her,
Yes, you
and
did.
her stairs, she must be in an old house, and I don't even think she's in this country. But it's just like our house. You go up a flight, and you turn and go up another flight, and you turn and go up another flight. So in the house, it's 4 flights up to that sewing room. From the basement here, I have to go up, be outside, go over, go into the house, and go up 4 more flights of steps. So it's 5 flights away. So if I've forgotten something, I couldn't leave and be back within my hour time frame. So it's a little bit crazy, but
Hi, Ruth. Good to see you.
it
Hi,
takes-
Darla. Good to see you.
I don't know whether you guys find the same thing, but it takes so long to try to organize. You don't realize how much stuff, and it gets so bad, and you're working and you have no space, and then you move this here, and then you try to do this, and you move that there, and all of a sudden you got all these Gomer piles all over. And how many days we've been up in that attic, and it's worse than it was when we started, it seems like. But I'm finding all kinds of stuff that I thought you guys would enjoy. And at a point when we can kind of shuffle a little bit a path through there, I'll take you up and show you some of my projects from back in the day and all. At one point I was featured in the newspaper for my needlework and all. John keeps looking at the phone, looking at me. What am I doing wrong, John?
No, Mary, everything's
He's
great.
kind of giving me
I
weird.
just noticed you're
What?
something up your sleeve.
Oh yeah. cold drippy nose syndrome. So anyway, the one thing I did
Jean
find,
says she loves the Gomer piles.
yeah, the one thing I did find, remember I told you I made acorns years and years ago, and you can make them without felting them, just felting them with soap and all that, but I actually used the needle and the felting needle, and you felt it into a little glob like that, and you know, you're felting like this, so it's a little treacherous. But I had put them in all kinds of acorn caps, and they look really cute in a like a little wood dish or any kind of a little dish in the fall. I have a little dish that was my mother's, and it
Hi,
was
Judy.
her
Good to
grandmother's
see you.
before.
Judy Davis.
Hi, Judy. And it's chipped, it's missing ears. The ears have been missing as far back as I can remember. But it's a little squirrel sitting on the side. My mom always put nuts out for Thanksgiving. That dish would come out, and she would have nuts in there and a little nutcracker.
Hi, Linda. Good
So
to see
I
you.
should make a bunch more of these. I sold most
I
of them.
thought they looked real. From afar, I was like, whoa.
I sold most of them that I made years ago, so this is what I had in the bag. And never do I finish a project. I don't know whether you're like that, but I have 2. All I had to do was glue the caps on, and I don't know why they didn't get on. But you'll see when I show you some of the projects, everything has something not finished. You know, you start and then something happens, a bee flies by, and you look over there and then pick up a project on the other side. So I definitely have attention deficit disorder, ADD as it's commonly called. So anyway, that's the acorns, the felting, and people quite a few people reached out to me that they were going to try the felting project. Some people had bought supplies and all. So I'm really anxious to hear how everybody makes out. But anyway, that was that. If we have time at the end today, I will finish off because I have some ideas of what I can do with this, because it's kind of a shame just to have this sitting around. I could finish it off and then have a finished off project just sitting around. But I went through and I wanted Valentine fabric, and actually on the bookshelves the fabric's all been sorted. I set it up in the last house where we lived, and when we moved I took it out of the cubicles in a box and moved it over and got it back in the box, back in the cubicles again. So that's sorted out, and you'll see that. So I went up and I had one section that's all Valentine's, and I pulled out this one, and I pulled out this one. So I decided that I would go with the, oh, sorry, John.
That's okay.
I would go with the one with the little cupids and the roses and all. I thought that was pretty. So, you know, I always go for nothing but the best of supplies. So I'm going to use a saucer, but you can use any size circle. And once you see what the project is, and I can tell you this saucer is, because I don't know whether all saucers are uniform, this is about 6.5 inches in diameter. Don't you hate that? You're trying to remember. I know I learned that in geometry. Is that radius or diameter? And I'm just going to trace around this with my felt tip. And there are special pens that you can use, and I could make a pattern and pin it on and all. But
Nora says it's beautiful material.
thank you. It's not the good old days where I have to be precise about everything. And now I like the crafts to look more homemade, as I have the shaky hand syndrome and poor eyesight. I'm going for the more casual things, so I'm going to cut this out. But I have such a pile of sewing ideas and things related to sewing that I put aside, and they're all things that I used to make when we had the store, and I was going to do it for when we were in the co-op, and I just didn't get to it, and I was going to do it for you guys like 3 years ago. So I thought, let me go through this pile, and I'll show you when we go up to the sewing room. A lot of the things I have. So anyway, I cut out 2 circles. It was double thickness of the fabric. I'm going to put the 2 right sides together. Now, if you're a neatnik, you may want the pattern to go the same direction. This is just kind of a random pattern, and I'm not going to worry about it. So one of the things I wanted to tell you, I reached out to the woman that has the, I put the 2 right sides together and I'm pinning it. I reached out to the woman that has the candy supply place, and we'll be doing some more candy for Valentine's Day. But I reached out to her about her coming on my page and doing a live and making, showing you all the supplies. She won't be making the candy, she'll show you what she's offering. She's right now, like everybody, start the new year, oh, I'm going to get everything organized. So she ripped up the whole store, and she's getting new supplies in, and she's working on that, and she says really chaotic. But we're hoping next week that she'll be far enough along that she can take you through the store. You will be amazed. It's a small shop, but she has an unbelievable amount of things. And she's a very kind person. The ladies before that owned it were very nice, but they retired. They sold it to Julie, and Julie's now running the store. And so she'll take us through and show us all the things she carries, and give you some ideas, and it'll be enough time if we can get it later next week. It'll be enough time that you could order stuff from her if you want. And I don't know whether you guys are really adept, but I'm not great on shopping online and all that. But that would be an opportunity. You could call her and talk to her on the phone, and she could tell you exactly what you needed.
Jen says that'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, and she'll tell you what you need and all if you call her, and then you can, she can figure it all out and ship it to you. So we want to do that in a timely manner. And then you can't go wrong with making Easter eggs, chocolate Easter eggs. So anyway, now that I cut this out, I went ahead and sewed ahead so I didn't have to have the sewing machine here, because then I wouldn't be able to easily work on my table. So I just sewed it, and make a seam that you're comfortable with sewing. It doesn't matter. And I'm just going to cut around the edge. You can clip or you can cut. I'm using my pinking shears, and I'm just going to cut around the edge, and that'll make it easier to turn right side out. So you don't want to get too close to your seam, and just trim off a little bit with these pinking shears. If you don't have them, you can just notch it every little bit, and it'll do the same thing. But this seemed much easier to me. But again, don't rush out and buy things that until you're sure that you need them. Because I don't know, when you look at what you own, you think, I own so much stuff, I didn't really need to get all this. You know, I've been doing crafts since I was about 4 or 5 years old, and I randomly buy things at yard sales, like
Hey,
big
BB
boxes.
Crafts, good to see you. That's Bernice.
Bernice, yeah.
Hey, Bernice.
So now that I trimmed it a little bit, I'm going to turn it right side out. I left a little hole when I sewed around, I forgot to say that, so I could turn it right side out.
Thanks for sprinkling, Bernice.
And this was easier to do on the sewing machine, but if you don't have a sewing machine, you could just glue the fabric together and turn it inside out. Oh, it feels like the heat's going on.
It's going on.
I hear it.
But not down here.
Yeah. It's blowing it someplace else, but not here. Where did I put my pencil? I had a pencil someplace. I don't know where I put my pencil. But anyway, I'm going to turn it right side out. And like I said, if you don't have a sewing machine, you could hand sew it or you could just glue it. But around Valentine's, whenever it's a holiday, you get all caught up in it, and then everything you want to do has to be related to the holiday. So now we have the little opening, and we turned it right side out, and you can just kind of use it. I was using a pencil with an eraser, but who knows where I threw it. Oh, here it is. And I use the eraser end and just kind of push it so it's turned out all the way to the seam. So there we go. Now I'm going to take my stuffing and I'm going to put it in. I wrote myself notes, but they're not the right notes that I brought down. I wrote myself notes to tell you about stuff, and always during the day I'm like, oh man, I have to tell them about this, I have to tell them about that, and then I get on here and I forget to tell you. But one of the things about Valentine's I used to do, you know, when I was growing up, and everybody probably feels the same, my childhood was not perfect. I don't know how I turned out so perfect with such an imperfect childhood, but that's funny. But anyway, anyway, you know, the holidays, majority of the time, aren't what you think they're going to be. There's always that element of disappointment. And now with Facebook, you go on and looks like everybody's life is so perfect, and you feel like you're the only one that your life sucks. You get up in the morning and you feel like that Ziggy thing where you pull up the shade in the bathroom and the cord breaks, and you go for toilet paper, there's no toilet paper. You go to pull the string to turn on the light, that breaks too. You know, it seems like, and then you look out, and instead of the sun shining, it's sticking its tongue out at you. I don't know whether you ever saw that Ziggy cartoon, that funny little Ziggy guy. But
Hi,
anyway.
Carol. Good to see you. How's your day going? We're doing okay. It's Carol Sweeney.
Oh, hi, Carol. I hope you're feeling better. So anyway, you know, Valentine comes, and I don't know anybody that thinks it's wonderful. And I remember, as wonderful as it's hyped up to be, you can go out and you can buy a $12 card and all this stuff. And I remember when I was teaching, and I would look at these girls in homeroom, And back then it was a little bit different than it is now, but they would sell like balloons in the school for a fundraiser, and they would sell roses. So now you look during homeroom, and you look around, and they bring them the things to the homeroom, and there's a girl, she's got 30 balloons and 30 roses, and she's sitting there like on the top of the pile, you know. And then there's some cute little girl sitting there, and she doesn't have anything. And you just feel so down in the dumps, and you look around and you think everybody's having a good Valentine's except for me. So I used to, with the kids, I had boys and girls in the class. I said, you know, there's all kinds of celebration. Also, when I did the after-school program, there's all sorts of celebration, and it's what you make it. And I said, you say to your friends before Valentine's Day, you say at the lunch table, how about if everybody brings a little present for everybody at the table? And you kind of make a pack of what you're going to do. Meantime, I'm stuffing this. I'm stuffing it pretty tightly.
Hi, Karen. Good to see you. Thanks for sprinkling. Carol says thanks. Nora says she loves Ziggy.
Yes,
And hey, Cheryl. Good to see you.
Yeah, you don't see them that
Cheryl
much
wants
yet.
to know how to get notifications for your lives.
Yeah, Facebook should send them out. We don't, we're not monetized, and we don't want to pay for any of those things, but I have to find out if there's something that we could use that isn't that expensive, that you get a message. But make sure you're following, because Facebook is supposed to send stuff to you. And I did post it on last couple days that I would be on today, but sometimes it's hard to find out. When I was on every day, it was easy. People just would check each day to see, and I pretty much aimed for the same time. So anyway, going back, so we would make candy in our class, and make cookies and all kinds of things, and made little cute little pockets, and I should do that again on here. Made cute little containers for all that, and everybody would make them, and they'd take them to their friends. And when I did the after-school program with the little kids, I would explain to them that, you know, you love everybody. You love your parents, you love your grandparents, you love your friends, you know, you love your siblings, but don't love your dog with chocolate.
Hi, Tara. Good to see you. She said, beautiful material, Tara.
So, oh, hi, Tara. So I have it pretty stuffed here, pretty tightly stuffed. You can make it as tight as you want once you see it. You may want to make it looser, or you may want to make it tighter. But it takes a lot more polyfill than you think. Now, somebody told me, I just buy the bags of polyfill, whatever they are. And this one is the...
Darla says Telegram is free.
Oh, is it? I'll have to check about that. This is just polyfill. You can also, like they say at Walmart, the pillows, the bed pillows are really inexpensive. And I've heard people actually use a bed pillow and use that, take it apart for the stuffing. So there's ways to get stuffing. So I have it pretty, I left it open about 1.5 inches, and I have it stuffed pretty tightly. So now my Mr. Magoo needs to thread a, that wasn't long enough, thread a needle here. So anyway, the little kids after school would make things, and the high school kids made stuff and little containers and all kinds of stuff that's fun. So I'll go back and I'll show the containers one time, all the things you can make. Of course, my hand's extra shaky, and typically I use 1 thread, but you could use 2 double. And we'll knot that off. And I'm just going to whip stitch this shut.
Hi, Dina Marie. Good to see you.
Hi, Dina. Now you can, be really neat. Or you could say, oh, I like it old-fashioned and primitive and handmade looking, like me, between my eyesight, my
Thanks,
shaky
Dina,
hand.
for sprinkling.
And Dina got a felting kit, so we're anxious to see how she
maybe
makes
that's
it.
who we were thinking about.
No, there are a few people.
Oh, okay.
A few people. And I'm just going to whip this shut. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're not trying to compete with manufactured things or anything. If you're a neatnik, that's great. I used to be like that, but anymore, my eyesight's poor and my shaky hand. So I'm just going to whip this shut. You could do the ladder stitch. You could make it really neat and all. At this point, like I said, I'm not concerned about that. I just want to keep the stuffing from coming back out in the hole.
Tara says she'd be reaching for the hot glue. Cheryl, I don't know. Maybe it could be type in done by capital N, capital E, not M-E. And maybe she says she can't find a follow button or a page.
Oh. Should be there.
Judy says, did you sell felt kits?
Felting kits? No. I sold things that I made, and I taught classes, but I never sold the kits.
Nora said, I'd have to have a needle threader to thread that needle.
Yeah, I used to do so much sewing, everything was a breeze, but as you get older and you have some challenges, your standards get greatly reduced. There was something about the, oh,
Hi, Randy.
instead
Good to see
of,
you.
hi, Randy, you could say low expectations. There was like a dating service years ago, and I forget what it was called, something expectations, and I'm like, it's got to be low expectations. Can't expect too much, and you'll never be disappointed. So anyway, I'm just doing this. So now we fast forward, and you know, there's a point in your life that you say, oh, this sucks, my Valentine sucks, or whatever, and you say, look at all these people, they're all sitting home, and we look at Facebook, and look, they got these flowers sent to them, they got this, they got this. Well,
Thanks, Darla.
Before
Carol
this
says Amazon has felting kits, and they're pretty reasonable.
Oh, okay. Or you could just randomly buy stuff and try it. But, and I showed you, you can use just regular yarn if you want. The fluffier yarn works a little easier. But just pull it apart. But anyway, there was a point where I had been through a horrible divorce, and I felt like, oh, my childhood wasn't the same as everybody's, because everybody would always embellish upon how great their life was. And no matter how great your life was, it always seemed like everybody had something better. They had a better husband, their kids were better behaved. Oh, it took my children till 2 to get toilet trained, and look at them, that child at a year old is toilet trained. You know, everything always looks better. And at a point after I went through a rough divorce, and I guess almost all divorces are rough, I said to myself, I looked in the mirror and I said, okay, I say my childhood wasn't that great all the time. I say my marriage wasn't that great all the time. But that's in the past. Now it's just me. So who can I blame it on? So I said, you know, my dad would always say, if it is to be, it is up to me. And that's when I decided that I was the captain of my ship. So this is all nice and stuffed. And now you can use carpet thread. You can use, I had pulled out embroidery floss. I probably would not use the regular sewing thread because that's not that strong. And I have, oh, now let me tell you, I knew what this was and now I don't remember. I have pearl cotton. And you can get it in different ways, but I think now they mainly sell it like this. So anyway, once I decided if it were to be, it would be up to me. And you can use whatever color you want. Say, oh, thank you for allowing me that privilege. But, and you know, you always thread the end that comes off the spool first, and not the end that was closest to the spool.
Janice says, that's the best outlook to have in life.
So I said, how am I going to make my Valentine's better than it was? And I think I can use, since this is really strong, much stronger than sewing thread, I think I can use just one length. But again, if you want to double it, that's good. So I decided I'd have this big Valentine party every year. So I invited all the ladies, important ladies in my life. So it was like my mother, my daughter and her friend, my aunt, my cousins, friends from work, friends that I had known for a long time. I invited, like, I'm going to say maybe 24 ladies. I took 2 tables, folding tables. I had a big family room. I moved all the furniture back. I took 2 folding tables end to end, and I used sheets for tablecloths then.
Hi, Pamela
and
from
covered
Michigan.
it.
Good to see you.
I invited my friends, and I said, bring supplies to make Valentines. So I start in the center, if you can see that, and I just pull it straight through.
2:30.
Thanks. Then I'm going to go around, and I'm going to go back just about the closest I can to where it went before. So I ended up doing this for quite a few years, having this Valentine party. So then I pull, and I have like that. Then I'm going to go, let me get this end down here. Trying to tell a story. Well, I'm telling you how this is made. Then I'm going to go around again and back in approximately the same place. And again, you can make it as primitive or as precise as you want. So I ended up, I had so much fun. The first year people came, I was astonished. Everybody brought me a Valentine gift. I'm like, you don't need to bring food or anything, just bring stuff. And I'm just going to kind of make one little stitch on the top here, and that will keep those 2, but you don't have to if you don't want to do that. So now I have it like that. I have cross here and cross here. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to divide the part that's the half into thirds, approximately.
Darla says, how cute. It looks petals.
Yeah, it's going to look like petals. So I ended up, I had, because I was a home ec teacher, and you guys all know I love to cook and all that, and I love presentation. I had so much fun. I bought a waffle iron that makes heart-shaped waffles, and I had the batter there. You can make a waffle. I had a big table with just all the food on it. I made all kinds of stuff for the party, and I had stuff all over and all decorated. But like I said, everybody brought me a gift, which I didn't anticipate. And I'd always do it the Saturday before Valentine's. So after we ate, and I'm just dividing that into the thirds, and each time I go halfway around and back through the whole thing again. I didn't expect the gifts, I didn't expect any of that. So after we ate, and people took a long time to eat the brunch, we cleaned everything up, took all the food away, and everybody took out their craft supplies, and we made Valentines. And it was so much fun. A lot of the people didn't know each other because I knew them from different places, from work, from school, whatever. And they all became friends, and everybody was swapping, and people brought stamps and ink, and people brought scissors. Everybody shared all their stuff, and it was really, really fun. The hardest part for me to understand was, well, first, everybody stayed the whole day. They stayed, I thought they were going to be gone by like 1 o'clock. No, they stayed the whole day. And I had left just some little things to nibble on, and that's what they did. They would nibble during the day, but everybody made all their Valentines, and it was really neat, and them sharing and talking. The hardest part was my friends that didn't know each other before the party. Now I just took a couple little stitches, running it, put it in here and pull it out here so no ends show, and it's a little more secure. So now I have this, and I don't know, can you see where the threads are, the red threads?
For the delay.
Okay.
Getting hearts.
Oh, thanks for the hearts, guys. I guess you can see the red threads on there. So anyway, everybody became friends.
Nora says, that sounds like it was so much fun.
It was really fun. I did that maybe 8 or 10 years. And then slowly, quite a few of my friends had passed. One of my close friends and my relatives, all that came to the party, have passed. And my one friend moved to Florida. So I ended up not doing it anymore. Just, you know, it just wasn't the same. But it was really a fun thing. I did it every year. But my one friend, I started to say, my one friend befriended another woman there, and then she invited her back to the house after my party. I'm like, what the heck? She's my friend. You two are my friends. You can't be friends without me.
You're getting hearts.
Oh, thanks for the hearts. But anyway, we ended up, another group of us started meeting once a month and doing a craft each month. Took turns at each other's house and all. It was really a fun thing. And oh, thanks for the hearts, guys. And it's a shame because
Hi, Karen.
so
Good
many
to see
women feel so competitive with each other and are unkind. And I just don't, I have trouble understanding that. So anyway, now we have this and we divided it up. So if you look at the old strawberry pin cushions, that's how they're divided like that. And I forgot to look it up. It's good luck. Back in the day, how this tomatoes, I said strawberry, I meant tomato. How the tomatoes started, I think it was good luck, and you put a tomato on your mantle or something when you got a house, and somehow that turned into a pincushion. I forget how that story goes. But anyway, it was just really an opportunity to take control of my life and make things happen. And
Hi, Shirley. Good to see you from Texas.
so when Valentine's came, I wasn't really motivated and concerned that I wasn't doing what everybody else was doing because I already had a great Valentine's. I got all these presents. People made me cards. We made Valentine's cards at the party that I gave to people. So it was really a way of recapturing some joy. So now I have this, and I went back, and when I was going through my buttons, I found this heart button. So I'm going to sew that in the middle here, and I can use any kind of thread that I want to use. I'll just use typical thread here. And like I said, when I went through, I used a little bit longer needle to go through the center part. You could use a smaller one, but you'd really be laboring to squeeze it. That just wasn't enough there. And it's always fun to make some little gifts for people, and you know, it'd be an opportunity if you had some friends that you got together with or whatever, and you just exchange little Valentine gifts, whether it is at a party or whatever. And it's always a nice surprise if you get something unexpected.
Studio J Company says, hey, Marilyn.
Hey, how are you? And we're just going to sew this button right on. Whoop. And again, you can be as precise or as primitive as you want, and I'll show you another pin cushion when I get finished here. And I have all these ideas for all kinds of pin cushions, and like I said, it's been sitting up there in my front hallway. Luckily, we have a really big hallway.
Hey.
It's been a little Gomer pile for like 3 years, maybe even longer.
Carrie says, I love all your crafts, Marilyn, and all the stories that
Oh, thank you.
you tell with them.
That's because, don't you live in New Jersey, Carrie? I think she does. It's us New Jersey people. So I'm just sewing it back and forth. And like I could have stopped and started under the button. I could have done this much more precise, but I'm not worried about it. Whoop. And I'm just going to knock this off.
20 minutes.
Yeah. So as I'm going through, I'm putting more
Carrie
stuff.
says, yes, I do.
More stuff.
Live in Jersey.
Yep. And I don't know where they go to the shore from where they are.
Here, Cheryl says, placing a fresh tomato on the mantle of a new home would bring good luck and ward off evil spirits, as the red color was seen as protective. Since tomatoes weren't always readily available, people began making fabric versions shaped like tomatoes to serve as a symbolic lucky charm and a practical place to store sewing needles, thus creating the iconic tomato pin cushion.
Oh, thanks. Who told me this?
Cheryl told you.
Cheryl, thanks so much. Yeah, I remember all this stupid trivia, but I'm not always accurate. So whenever I'm telling a story, you have to figure there could be some old people's misinterpretation. So now we have
Hey, Cindy, good to see you.
the
Cindy's
heart and the pin.
Creations.
Hi, Cindy. So you could have made it a little puffier if you wanted. This style, you
Judy's
see.
gonna try to get felting stuff and try it.
Yeah, try it, Judy. You'll love it. And then when I was
Carrie
going
says
through,
from where she is, she takes exit 98 off the Parkway, and she goes to Lavalette. You know
Oh.
where that is?
yeah, that's. I wonder how far Lavalette is from.
That's North Jersey.
I think she goes south to go to the shore, but I'm not sure. So there was, and this
Cheryl
came
said
from.
she looked it up for you. Thanks, Cheryl.
Thank you.
Good job.
I don't look things up. I just fill in where my mind has blanks. So there are all these hearts in there. So they would be really cute. You could put them on there. These I found while I was going through. There are these little wooden hearts that I have, little tiny wooden hearts. You could include them. Later I'll show you how to make the little strawberry that can hang off of this. I'll have to get a couple of the supplies for that. But I had, and who knows, this was probably the Nanette factory outlet, which Nanette used to make the most adorable little girls' dresses. They'd be smocked and all. The factory outlet was about a half hour from where I lived. And you could go there like a couple times a year, and they had sales. And they would have those big, like, dumpster things on wheels, the canvas carts, heaped with dresses, one style. All the dresses in there would be like $2. And then another bin, all the dresses would be $3. And you just root through in this factory. And that's how I dressed my daughter. Every day she wore a cute little Nanette dress, and nothing was expensive. And I just, when she went in for a nap, I'd rinse them out in the sink and hang them, and they'd be dry by the time she got up. And, but you could also get the fabric, you could get buttons, and I think that's where I got, because look at this bag of buttons. That's not how you buy them in a store or anything. I don't know, because like I told you, I've been doing this since I was a young girl, so you figure about 70 years I've been doing crafts. So it's just a little heart-shaped button, and I hope you could see it from there. But it's a heart-shaped button. So anyway, then, and I tell you I don't like to buy stuff, but lo and behold, I did buy something. And I bought them a long time ago, and I don't know where I put them. And so I'll find another box of them. But these are, take this one. They're like a hat pin, but they weren't exactly what I wanted, but if you can, I guess you can see it better like that. It's longer than a regular straight pin, and it has a little pearly end. And I thought, oh boy, you could take nail polish and just stick this in something and paint the cap if you wanted. You know, paint the pearly end a different color if you wanted to. There's a lot of stuff you could do with it, and I'll show you some of that later, but John threw these together for me, and he glued the button right onto the pin. So we have these little pins to stick in our pin cushion, and I thought that looked really cute.
Judy says, oh yeah, every time we see crafters, we think, oh, we did that 50 years ago.
Yeah, it's fun because it's all repetitious. And then I thought you can take, just to make it look old or whatever, or how a pin cushion, because I buy all those old sewing, if I see a sewing box, sewing stand, anything like that, I always have to buy it. And it's all tumbled inside, and I think one time I even organized one in front of you guys of what was in there.
15 minutes.
But usually there's all kinds of interesting things, and so this is just a piece of floss from something, and I'm
Cheryl
just...
says she had a few of those and did not know they were called hat pins.
Oh, okay. And I put the floss on there, and usually you see people have, you know, very few people have nice sewing pins, you know, and this is just a little safety pin, and I'll tuck it in there. So you can just fill it in with all kinds of stuff. Oh, the other thing I thought, I had just little snips and snails and puppy dogs' tails from the other day, and you could just stick that on there, and so it just makes it look really cute. And so I always...
Cheryl says she remembers her mother taking pins and putting beads on them and then sticking them to ornaments.
Yeah, wasn't that cool? That's why I said the other day with that ball that I made, you could put some beads on that. So I had these, and I don't know where they came from, but I'm cleaning out. You can't believe all the cool things that I'm cool to me things. And so I have that, and where I had a little pin I was going to use for that. Another different pin. Oh, I'll just use this yellow-headed pin. But it's a little flower, and I'll just stick that on there. So as you go, oh, that pin's not very sharp. Huh. Sounds like me when I get up in the morning, not very sharp.
Oh boy.
But anyway, oh, that one, is that one going to go
Cheryl
through?
says you should write a book with all your information.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my misinformation. Is that one sharp? Oh, boy. None of these pins in that old pin cushion are very sharp. Just stick that on there. But anyway, you get the idea. So you can embellish it. But how cute would this be to give for a gift to somebody that sews, or even if you don't sew, you could put a little pin on there if you were giving a little pin. So I always try to show you ideas and thoughts of using what you have. And so when I was going through, I save everything. I don't know whether this was with fabric that I got. It's not on a buy nothing, or whether it was in fabric that I bought a pile of junk. I don't know where it was, but it was a placemat, and it's old. It was handmade, and there were parts of it that were coming apart. But I told you, I don't throw things away. And so I went ahead and I cut out of here, because I thought this looked like, I don't know whether it's the 40s or the 60s that kind of look like that kind of a print. And I went ahead earlier and I made a little pin cushion. I used one of my old vintage buttons and I just stuck some stuff on there. And I was showing John and he said, "Oh, you have an old one like the ones you're making?" I'm like, "No, I made this one." So he was fooled. It looks like an old pin cushion because of the fabric I chose. So you can cut fabric out of an old piece of clothing, whatever you have. And in the old days, that's what people did. Nobody went out and went to Amazon and ordered everything they needed. They made do with what they had.
Carol says her mom filled the homemade pin cushions with dried coffee grounds.
Oh, really? I know you can, some of them are filled with like sawdust or wood shavings. They used all kinds of things. And I think some of these are even like wood shavings.
10 minutes.
Okay. And I pulled out a white button because I thought, oh, I was going to do something else too, different fabric. But you know how you start out and then you change your mind along the way. But anyway, so those are the two pin cushions, just so you could see what they look like. This is the one we just made, and I made this out of the placemat. So if you're going to make things, it's fun, and if you don't have a lot of money or don't want to spend a lot of money, you should still be able to have a great time. So the other project I wanted to show was, remember we just felted this little heart on here the other day. It took like 2 minutes to do it. I thought I would turn this into something, because it's kind of a shame you make something and then you don't want to just throw it away. So that's 1.5. Let me see here. I think I need about 1.5 inches below.
Carol says those are cute.
Thank you. What about 1.5 inches below? And I'm not going to use my rotary. I need to get put a new blade in it, and I know I have new blades someplace, but right now they're buried. So we use our trusty. I don't even know what kind of scissors these are.
Hi Ada, good to see you. She said this is looking nice.
Oh, thanks. So I'm just going to
Charlie says those are awesome.
cut this. That would be good if I made it a little darker so I could see where my line was, wouldn't it? And like I said, for people that like to be precise, it would make a nicer project. But I'm not concerned about that at this point.
Cheryl said some people use lavender or some other scent they make, and so a person can put natural oil drops on the top.
That's cool. You wouldn't want to put your pins in there, though, with the oil, I don't think. I'll show you some of the lavender pillows when we get to that I used to make. Oh boy, that's like one crooked mess, Marilyn. Now let's be serious about this. That's probably not the best job you could do. Let's get this a little more accurate. Let's turn it right side up. Let's try and get this a little bit more accurate. Quit talking and think about what you're doing, Marilyn. Sometimes my brain just is yelling, I don't want to work today. And this is just cheap felt. And that's close enough to a square. We're not going to worry about that. Maybe we should worry a little bit. Get this centered a little bit. So we got about 1.5 inches on that side. Let's see if we have about 1.5 inches on that side. Oh, not that bad off. Okay, close enough. If I shave off a little. So if you don't have a sewing machine,
Darla says, felt does love to shift.
especially when you're not paying attention and you have the Jimmy Crack Corn and I don't care attitude. So
Who is Jimmy Crack Corn anyway?
I don't know. So I had pulled out, this is candle wicking, and if any of you did that, that was really a fun art. It was a colonial type stitching. Let's see if I can find the end for this. It was the colonial type stitching, and during the bicentennial, oh boy, there is an end someplace, but they don't want you to find it. Well, pearl cotton. But anyway, it was a series of French knots, so you could get the patterns for it, and most of them were like iron-on, or you could get it already printed on the fabric, and you would come up at each dot, make a French dot and French knot, and go back. It was kind of a cool thing. I did a lot of it. Some of the bread spreads
Hey Michelle, good to see you.
That you
Basement
can
Crafting
buy.
with Michelle. She says,
Hi, Michelle.
hey my sweet neighbor, she just got home.
Oh boy. But you could still get bread spreads that look like that. Looks like the candle wicking, but I forget what they call them.
Randy
But
said she loved doing candle witting.
wicking,
She loved witting.
yeah.
Made a lot of Christmas ornaments.
Yeah, it was really a neat art, and I still have all the supplies, and in the tub I have some things that are half done, so no pun intended, John.
Okay,
Half done.
no pun intended. So hey, listen, take a quick break, give Mary a break for a second, and again, we're the kickoff for Vintage Country Crafting Friends Group today, and it's Crafter's Choice, and Janice is our host, and we thank you again, Janice, for having us come along. It's always an honor and privilege, as I say, and hey, it was fun to do the kickoff, something different, and it shakes it up a bit, so that was great, and it's a free group, so please join, and sit tight, watch the other crafters, and coming up right after us, don't go away, it's going to be Jean with Clifton's Crafty Casa. I hope I said that properly, Jean, but stay tuned for her, and don't go away. And Mare, you have 3 minutes left.
Okay, so I'm just going to do like a little running stitch around here, so if you don't have a sewing machine, you can just do a running stitch.
Okay, Randy, I wouldn't have known the difference anyway.
What's that?
She said she spelled it wrong. It's
No,
wicked.
but you know
It's
what's
wicked, like you
annoying?
said.
A lot of times you put something in and spell check decides to change it to what they want. But yeah, all these things, any of your little samples actually make cute little gifts, and you could put it on you could cut this out. Oh, I should have cut it with the pinking shears.
Thank you, Janice.
Oh man, I'm sorry guys, I'm going to go back. I had good intentions of using my pinking shears. But you can put it on a greeting card. I'll show you some cute greeting cards ideas for Valentine's Day too. I have to remember
You're welcome,
all
Janice.
those projects that I line stuff up way ahead that I'm going to do, and then I get only through part of them, and I'm so frustrated, and I leave the pile until after the holiday's over. But anyway, what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this with pinking shears. I'll just use a running stitch on it, and I'll make a little padded thing, which could hang on a Valentine tree if you have it. I just posted, I think yesterday, a replay of a Valentine tree that I had done for the store. For
It
the
says
co-op.
any way to sharpen pinking shears?
Yeah, they say cut with, you can get them sharpened by a sharpener, but they also say you can cut them with aluminum foil, but just check that before you do it. I know my mother always said don't cut paper with her good shears. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this. Yeah, I'm going to cut this with the pinking shears. I'll do a running stitch. I'll show it. I have to show all the stuff that we made so far for Valentine's Day, but I haven't gone to the barn yet. It's just been too cold, and I haven't really felt up to walking out there to get the things I need to finish a couple of the things. But anyway, I wanted to show you. So today we made the pin cushion, and right before we came on, I made this one to look like an old-fashioned one, and then this is the one we made today, and it was Valentine fabric, and John glued the little hearts on the hat pins, and I just thought that makes a really, and it was a heart button in the middle, that just makes a really cute gift for somebody. And I have some other ideas for this same thing, which I'll show you later. So John says, say goodbye. Bye, everybody.
Thanks
for
everybody.
joining
Have a
us.
great day, and stay
And
tuned
thanks for
for
including us in the event.
stay tuned for Gene with Clifton's Crafty Casa. Okay, thanks everybody. Have a great day.